If your private practice clinic seems quiet, let me be very clear. It isn't random and it isn't something you should ignore. Most clinicians I speak to don't say, I've got a serious problem. They say, it's gone a bit quiet, don't quite know why. And what they're really hoping is that it's going to correct itself. Now, sometimes it does, but more often than not, it doesn't. Let's talk about why quiet periods happen, what they're actually telling you about your practice, and how the most successful private practices respond without panic, discounting, or guesswork. Quiet periods of time in your private practice are normal, but never meaningless. Almost every private practice will experience some quieter smells, for example, in the summertime, around Christmas. That part is normal. But what isn't inevitable is what happens next. Busy private practices don't stay busy by luck. They stay busy because they built systems that continue to bring in patients even when things slow down for everybody else. So when a practice goes quiet, the moment the momentum drops, that's a clue. It tells me that the practice is reactive, not resilient. There are four kinds of quiet in private practice land. And this is where clinicians go wrong because they're not all the same. So we can expect a bit of seasonality in private practice when people may find their patients going off for Christmas time or maybe get a little bit quieter during the school holidays. But we should be able to plan for this. And even if we are expecting to have a little bit of a slightly less full diary, we can use those times to really address big pieces of work we might need to do, doing a new website rebuild, refreshing our marketing, etc. So sometimes it's okay to have a little bit of buffer time that we're expecting in the diary. But arguably, if your practice is running well, marketing well, you should be able to have a diary that's fully booked in January, the moment everybody pops back from Christmas. What we don't want to be doing is sitting around waiting for things to pick up. So if your diary reliably rebounds every year, this isn't a crisis, but you don't want it to be a recurring feature. Then there's the kind of quiet that happens because one or two of your key referrers stops referring people to you. And that's a dependency problem. Everything looks fine until the circumstances change. One referrer moves, one service changes, one relationship cools down. Suddenly, the diary's empty. That's not bad luck, that's structural risk. And then there's the most common problem that I see, which is visibility quiet. You were busy, so you stopped marketing, so you stopped being visible. You stopped writing content, you stopped showing up online, you stopped staying in touch with patients and referrers. Patients haven't stopped needing you, they've just stopped finding you. And then there's the confidence quiet, which is where people are holding back from showing up online. They don't want to position themselves out there in the marketplace. They don't want to be seen to be online because they're worried about what their peers are thinking. And the result is a practice that's technically competent, but invisible. And invisibility always costs you more than you think it does. Quiet periods of time in private practice are more expensive than they look. This is because a quiet private practice doesn't just affect your cash flow, it erodes your confidence. It means that you stay stuck in all those extra NHS PAs you didn't want to be doing. It pushes you back into this sort of fear and overworking mindset, and it keeps you behaving smaller than you should be. I see incredibly capable clinicians stuck in this holding pattern for years, not because they're not good enough, it's because they never properly diagnose what's actually holding their private practice back. So, if your practice has been feeling a little bit quiet, let's do a quick little audit. Ask yourselves these questions honestly. Where did your last 10 new patients come from? What happens if your main referrer stops referring to you tomorrow? Can patients easily book with you without frictional chasing or waiting for the MedSec to phone them back? When did you last publish something online or make a video that answered questions in a way that only you could answer them that couldn't be found in ChatGTP? Are you relying on goodwill or are you relying on your systems? If those questions make you feel a bit uncomfortable, then it's a sign that you're finally looking in the right place. Here's what not to do if your private practice is feeling a bit quiet. When clinics slow down, I often see clinicians panic. So they cut fees, they try random acts of marketing, they start randomly making Google ads they don't understand. They try and copy their competitors and they suddenly decide that marketing doesn't work. If your private practice is quiet, don't guess. Get help. Come and get some coaching. You don't need extra motivation. You don't need random tactics. You need clarity. A quiet diary is not a failure, it's simply a symptom that you need to be doing things differently. Not sure what to do next? Why not take the Private Practice Performance Predictor, find out what you need to do to improve your private practice, or get in touch. Let's have a chat about how we can get your practice thriving in 2026. Remember, quiet practices don't fix themselves, but once you understand what's actually going on, fixing it becomes far less stressful.